Sha-Nae Allman is a triologist. Sha-Nae is an acclaimed, sought after award winning hairstylist and triologist known for her on apparel expertise, professionalism, and artistic styling in the realm of hairstyling with a deep passion for hair care. Shanae has 10 years' experience, and with her exceptional talent behind the chair, she landed her Barbados Hairstylist of the Year award in 2022. A mentor to many, Shanae represents the epitome of professionalism and excellence within the industry, with the power to not only transform women through mastery of hairstyling, but ignites her confidence and drive to go after success. Shanae was trained by Angel Robinson, Jillian Garcia, Patrick Bradley, Helena Reddick, just to name a few. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome Shanae Allman. Sophia Cassie is an MCC executive coach and corporate trainer. Sophia's love for leadership and executive coaching has led her to become one of the top transformational coaches by USA Today and winning the Gold Award for Best America's Coaching from Coach Awards 2023. Sophia's love for leadership has not only landed her that award, but has placed her in a room such as working with the Internal Revenue Service, where she has served on an executive team responsible for processing over 200 million tax returns annually. She was also responsible for working with over 65,000 workers and executing a 1.6 billion budget. Sophia has served as an agent of change, as head of training organizations in the federal government and private sector arenas. Sophia is an 8-time published and best-selling author committed to women's global empowerment, as evidenced by her novel Fierce Vulnerability, A Color Girl's Truth, Trials and Triumphs, debuting as Amazon's #1 new release for dramas and plays by women. Ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome Sophia Cassie. Welcome, 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 ladies.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
How
Pleasure to
are
be
you?
here.
Thank you for having me.
Good. And thank you for being here. I am super excited to have all of you here today as we talk about the I am woman. That word alone means so much. But I know we just read your intro and everybody just they learn who you are. You guys do phenomenal things. You are doing phenomenal things in your industry. But I want you to introduce yourself to them, telling them a little bit about who you are and what you do that is not necessarily seen or heard.
Oh, I will share. Well, one of the things I want to share at the top of this conversation is that I consider myself a quasi Caribbean because my husband and bonus son, who I inherited at age 3 years old, are Jamaican. So I always have to put that out there. I'm very proud of that. And so, besides my bio, the only other thing I would want to add is that I am so incredibly committed to seeing more Black, Indigenous people of color who are certified and credentialed coaches on this planet so that we get to actually get value and we get to benefit from something, that coaching industry that's been kept kind of private and left for certain groups. So that's it.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well said. Shanae, what about you?
Hi, guys. Again, just want to thank you for having me. Um, Shanae, I am a very humble person. I'm a mom, I'm a wife. I know the bio sounds really, really pretty and elaborate, but outside of that, like I'm very approachable and, just humbled and honored to be here.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And so, ladies, we are talking about resilience. That's what we talk about on the I Am Woman show. And when we talk about resilience, what does that word really mean to you? What's your definition of resilience?
For me, Resilience is demonstrating strength, um, and not giving up. Perseverance, to overcome challenges, and not just to overcome them, but even in going through your challenges, to evolve more so. Yeah, but strength, if I'm going to talk about perseverance, you can't speak about perseverance without speaking about strength. For me, that's what resilience is.
Yeah. Well said. Well said. Well said. What about you, Sophia?
Oh my gosh, that's so beautiful, Sha-Nae. Thank you for offering that. I really got present to that word perseverance, and we women of color, I tell you, we could be the posters for that word. So I really appreciate
Yeah.
you sharing that. And in my right age now, my definition, my definition of resilience has changed over time. In the past, I related to resilience as meaning I'm picking myself up by my bootstraps. I'm pushing through no matter what. And I received a lot of accolades and promotions and all this great stuff from coming from that place. But as time has passed, and also doing a lot of work as a coach and being trained as a coach, it has changed. And now my definition is more around, I see a resilient woman as a woman who is who honors herself, who honors her boundaries,
Yeah.
who allows herself to share her emotions without shame or regret or apology. I see, resilience as also her honoring her values and what she stands for. Also, I would say, what has made me resilient, or I would say my definition of resilience has changed personally for me, is I see myself as resilient because I have more of a bandwidth to ask for and receive support. I feel
Yes.
like that is resilience. Like you are willing to ask for and receive support. And then lastly, I would say resilience is women like us who really value and who are committed to our communities.
Wow, well said. And listen, you said something there that I wanna tug on a bit, and I can see Shanae ready to share too as well. You talked about honoring your boundaries. What does that look like for
Ooh,
that woman who's watching right now? And she might be struggling with that. She's like, okay, I know I need to put some boundaries in place, but I don't really know how to get this thing done. I've been struggling with this for a minute. What does that look like?
yeah, I can tell you, I've struggled with it for decades. I was I could be the poster child in the beginning of my early years of the ultimate caregiver, the ultimate people pleaser. And I've just started to really relate to honoring my boundaries as checking in with myself first before I go do all the things for everybody else. And sometimes that's challenging, when you own businesses and you check in with your teams. But I'm learning more and more that the more I'm committed to putting my oxygen mask on first, the better I am for other people and the better that I am for myself. And I'm still a work in progress. Let me be quite authentic. I still sometimes struggle around it. But at least now I'm pausing more to ask myself, like, hey, Sophia, did you check in? Check in with yourself first before you go say yes. And I love this quote I saw a few weeks ago on social media that says, okay, if you're saying yes, what are you saying no to for yourself?
Hmm.
So before you go say that yes, just check in. Are you saying yes to that and also saying no to yourself? And it's just a great call forth for me to keep honoring my boundaries. And then on a tactical side, it means putting my phone on do not disturb. Yeah.
Hmm.
I like that. I like that. You wanted
What
to share there, Shanae? Go ahead.
what I wanted to add to what Sophia said, about boundaries. I truly believe with all of my heart that you should not be accessible to everybody.
Hmm.
I'm a necker for everybody does not deserve to be in my space, in my personal space. I mean, it took me a while to understand that, but boy, my friends and my family can tell you certain people can only, reach here. So, just to add, like, don't be that accessible. The more accessible you are, you lose value, you start to lose value. And I feel like people don't honor and respect you as much, so boundaries are very, very important, don't be that accessible.
I so appreciate that. And so we'll continue to get opportunities to practice, right?
I like that.
When my clients and family members and friends send me text messages on Sundays, I'm just like, wow. And I used to get annoyed by it, but then I'm like, no, Sophia, that's another opportunity for you
to say no.
Yes, for you to say no. Like I said, I'm still in progress, still in process around that. Yeah.
I'd read that message and don't respond. They get the message. They get it. They get it. They get the picture.
They get it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
That's very true.
I'm gonna send some of my folks over to Sha-Nae. They'll get it.
Yes.
Oh wow. So okay. So I love where this conversation is going because it's helping me, to begin to segue to my next question for you both. When we talk about, okay, we just talked a bit about boundaries, we talk about being resilient, and we know that that's necessary, especially for, in your own fields, where you're doing right now. So what about your career path? Tell us a little bit about your career path. What are some of the things that you had to do or that may have caused you to become resilient? That you had no other choice, but you just had to be resilient.
And for me, I feel that could be. There's so many areas in the beginning, and again, that would have changed. So, how I learned resilience in my career, starting off as a new hairstylist, there were some weeks you didn't even make money to pay for your booth rental. And picture, like, I can't get $175 or $200 to pay rent, so that really gave me a drive and a passion. Is like, I had to do this. For days when I had charts, like, I had to do this many heads, and I would just count down and count down and count down. That is one. And then, it started to evolve. I found that another hard aspect would have been not being able to meet clients' needs. As good as a hairstylist that you might be, there will be some clients who might say, well, I don't like this. Or how do you deal with that? You know what I mean? And it's not a good feeling, but I take those lessons and I build. And for me, it is, I want to please everybody that comes in my chair, as long as you're spending money with me. So, you had to go back to the drawing board and, try to please every customer. So it is so different. You face so many. Yeah. And for me now, again, that has evolved again. And for me now, I feel like it's more geared towards not having enough space to accommodate clients right now. My books are always full, and sometimes you get clients who are upset maybe because you can't accommodate them. And so honestly, over the years, that has shifted when it comes to work. So even again, in terms of products, it's really hard. A lot of people don't even speak out about that, but it's really hard to get certain products, good quality products. You do get them, but then it's far in between. So no, I had to resort to traveling. Everybody can't even afford to travel to brand products. But this is something now that I've had to do for the past couple of months or years, in terms of the quantity that I would like to purchase. I can't get it here. So again, in terms of, momentum and you having to build resilience, for me, that has changed. That changes constantly in my career.
Wow. I like that. I like that. What about you, Sophia?
Well, like Sha-Nae said, we could talk about this for hours, right? Because I'm sure we have many examples of where we've had to be resilient in our career. one that stands out the loudest for me is several years ago, my husband had a stroke, and they determined a brain tumor. He still has a third of that brain tumor. And I, my family said, could you remember to tell people that he is here? He's here. Yes, he is here. Thank God he is still here. Shout out to my Jamaican family. He could be the poster of resilience. I mean, think about, I was a full-time entrepreneur and have been for a number of years before this happened for him. And there I was with a very young child, right? With a husband who I immediately became a caregiver to. And I had the type of business, because I was a trainer, facilitator, executive coach, but I had the type of businesses where I had to travel. And how could I do that? My husband can't stay home with our son now. So how do I do that? And I had to, with a whole lot of prayer and many nights laid out on the living room floor, crying out for support and answers, and also reaching out to family and friends. What came to me, and I'm so grateful, I heard literally like somebody sitting next to me, go check out homeschooling. Maybe you can homeschool him. And then that morphed into me being able to virtual school our son. So I didn't have to do all those lesson plans. So I actually ended up virtually schooling my son. So, and then my husband at that time was put in a residential facility, if you will. So my son was able to travel with me everywhere. So I didn't have to completely stop my business forever. I did have to stop it for quite a while. But then once I picked my business back up, opened it back up, I was able to do that because he was able to travel with me. And then I made him my apprentice, and he would set up the training rooms and greet the students and that sort of thing. But I tell you, it was really, really tough. And then, in the recent years, what I've come to be very grateful to God for, that I wasn't always present to because I was in it so deeply, was that day when my husband took ill, I really, in many ways, I became a single parent. And I always want to honor my husband. So I don't say I'm a single parent. I say I'm parenting singly sometimes. And I just wasn't present to it before. But in the last 2 or 3 years, I'm like, I'm giving myself a pat on the back. I'm like, Sophia, you were able to still keep your businesses going or restart your businesses and then keep them going while parenting singly. So yeah, it was tough. And a lot of people left. And a lot of people I was okay with leaving. So that was a big shift and big shock to me, actually.
Wow.
Very tough.
I'm just here taking notes because I'm gonna circle back to Sha-Nae, then I'm gonna come right back to you. Because Sha-Nae has said something when she shared. She said, she always tried to in that beginning stages, she wanted to be able to please her customers because of course we want to provide a good service. Yeah. But my question is for you, Sha-Nae, how were you able to overcome that stage of wanting to please? Not that you don't want to offer a good service, but the stage of pleasing, because we know the reality is we really can't please everyone. So how did you overcome that?
Okay, so, both of us can see something, all three of us, we can see an incident take place, and we all have 3 different stories.
Yes.
Exactly. Yes. So, what I've been able to do, what I've been doing is you show me what you want, because somebody might describe something to you and the picture I get in my head and I'm thinking, okay, this is what my client wants. And when it's done, no, but somebody was saying your turn, so I want my hair short, I want a short cut. Oh, girl. I start to cuz but I didn't want it so short, but you said short, sweetheart.
Yeah.
Listen, you sit in my chair now, you show me a photo, and honestly, that really take out a lot of the blurred lines, unless. And honestly, that was a lot of the beginning of my career. Now most people just say do whatever, and they're happy. if I know, and again, it's all about knowing your clientele,
Yeah.
knowing who you are dealing with. If I know you are very, very particular, I am not cutting unless you show me a photo. You have
Mm,
to show me a photo. And then,
mhm.
you get less issues. But a lot of those challenges were in the beginning,
Yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
Mm, good. Okay. And then for you, Sophia, you said that you lost some folks. And many times, especially when, as we're building and we're talking about your career, you're building that level of resilience, you have to build muscle. And the reality is you are going to lose someone. You are going to lose someone. But then how were you able to deal with the fact that you were losing people? Because I'm going to assume here that these were not just average people. They were people that meant something to you. And now they're going away. How did you deal with that?
It was a very, very painful time in my life because I'm such a giver, right? I'm such a giver and a big time extrovert. I'm sure you could tell. Extrovert. I love being around people. I get energy from being connected with people. So it was a very, very painful time. But what helped me is, the people who were there, the people who I could count on, so I started to focus more on those folks and started to be grateful for those folks also. And also, I created new relationships, which I probably wouldn't have done before, right? I didn't have necessarily a need to do that, but I created new relationships and created those new relationships inside of me honoring my boundaries too and being clear about what my values are around my friends. So that certainly helped a lot. But yes, it was absolutely in all authenticity. It was extremely, extremely painful. And also to be compassionate to those people. Some of them pulled back because they just didn't know what to do. They didn't know what to do, what to say. Some pulled back because their relationship to me is, oh, she's got it. In fact, I had somebody tell me that. Oh, like I was like, you got it. You always have it. So check on your strong friends.
Yeah.
So I get that, and also to be compassionate with them. A lot of my, the people that I surrounded myself with, their relationship to resilience is, as I said earlier, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You got this. Push on through. Push on through. Like, don't stop. Don't you dare break down. I mean, I was raised by a matriarchal family, right? Of beautiful, strong, competent, capable Black women who also said that all the time. Push through. Never let them see you sweat. So I'm grateful for my work as a coach that has trained me, and for therapy. Thank you, therapy. That has really supported me around valuing my true emotions and valuing
Yes.
myself enough to be able to say, no, today I don't push through. Today I go lay on this couch and I go eat some ice cream, and I'm going to do so unapologetically. In fact, I'm going to put that phone back on do not disturb.
And that's important.
I love that. I love that.
Really.
Wow, I love that. Ladies, you that are watching, I hope you guys are really taking some notes because these are some really great takeaways that we can definitely apply to wherever you are, whatever you're working. So, as we talk about building resilience, building that capacity to continue to be resilient. And so, I know we're going to get ready to get out of here soon, but I can't go without answering this question. This question is for both of you. Why do you think that some women are not pursuing their purpose or pursuing the vision, that might have been assigned to them? Why do you think that's a challenge for some?
For me, I would say a lack of confidence,
Yeah.
Limited resources, um, not having a community. Something Sophia said earlier that made me start to shake my head about, you dare not let them see you sweat, and you do all this and you be tough, and I feel like that when you show true emotions and you let people know, like, hey, this is hard, and you break down and people see that, it kind of humanizes you. Like, people realize, okay, if she is doing this, I can get this through too. And I feel like too many of us hide the struggle everybody just wants to show the glitz and the glamour and just want to be glorified, but everybody's taking away the realness. And I would really like our community to come back to that. Nobody is being real anymore. So I feel like, and for me, I'm not gonna act like I'm perfect, because there were times when I saw people doing this and I was like, oh, not confident enough, thinking, oh well, she walks with grace and she does this so amazing, and I feel like that comes again from, we stray so far away from reality. We make everything seem like it's easy.
Ooh.
It really isn't. We really need to stay in tune and in tap with what's going on and be honest and let people know, hey, this isn't easy, but if I can do this, you can do this. Don't make it seem like I'm balling. That's not true. I struggle. There are days I come home because of my job. I have to be I have to show up so strong and so happy for so many people. There are
Yes.
so many people that come into the salon. Sometimes they don't even need to get their hair done, but they show up at the salon because of the energy that I give to them, or how they feel when they get to the salon, when they're leaving, like, the confidence that they leave with. Do you know how many women just sit in my chairs like, yeah, I just needed to see you today. Am I a therapist? Not really. but and mind you, behind the background, sometimes my life is falling apart, and I have to show up for these ladies. So
Mm-hmm.
again, I feel like we really need to bring reality back to the forefront. Let's
Mm-hmm.
drop the app. So again, a lot of women are not, to answer your question, I think that they're not, going pursuing their dreams because of fear, lack of confidence, and community. I can honestly say with all my heart and all my chest, I have an amazing community. My family back me, my husband back me. I really don't lack in that, and a lot of people don't have it. Because even in my weakest moment, somebody lifts my chin and is like, "Nah, girl, you got this. You got this." And a lot of people don't have that. So find your people, find your circle. You know, and that's one thing that I can say boldly and proud. My family and my friends really do have my back. So find your people, find your tribe, for sure.
Wow. Well said. Well said.
Mm-hmm.
What about you,
You.
Sophia?
It was so beautiful. I'm still right there with Sha-Nae, about finding your people. And what I heard as a common theme in what you just shared, Sha-Nae, is find your safe spaces.
Yeah.
I'm getting teary-eyed, as you were talking, because a lot of times in our communities, we have been trained and we keep sending it down to the next generation, that you're not supposed to be vulnerable. Like, vulnerability is bad. So I named my book Fierce Vulnerability. You're not supposed to be bad. And you're not supposed to be vulnerable, rather. And we shun, in our society, shun authenticity.
You see how much damage that has done to us?
So much
We
damage.
can't pass that on to our kids. Cannot.
No, no. And I imagine, I appreciate you saying that about our kids, because, my son, he just started college, and he shared that he's like, Mom, I really stand out. I'm so much more mature than these other kids. And I said, it's because I allowed you to be vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't teach you, like, man up, you can't cry. And I'm so grateful that he is the way he is. But I tell you that it's hurting our communities.
Yes.
It is hurting our communities. And I tell you, I'm grateful that I'm a successful executive life coach. And the big part of that is because I'm co-creating safe spaces all the time with my clients. And I'm sure you can relate to this, Sha-Nae. My clients come and share stuff with me that they don't even share with their spouses,
Yep.
or
Or
their
friends.
family or their friends. Do not share those things with me. And I'm grateful, that God has gifted me with this wonderful anointing to be able to
Mm-hmm.
create that space. But I would also add that, it's systemic gatekeeping also.
Yeah.
Like, opportunities, especially in industries like the coaching industry, are often controlled by the majority population. And I'm an international school, so I'm talking about the U.S., but I'm talking outside the U.S. across the water as well. The systemic gatekeeping of keeping certain industries and certain things just for certain people, and that is why I do stand out. I had a coach I was very close to. Actually, he was my very first coach ever. Who, when I became a master certified coach, which is it's the highest designation in my industry, he said me being an MCC was like a square peg trying to fit in a round hole.
Wow.
Like, that's the welcome that I get coming into this industry. But he was speaking something that is often unspoken. Like, people like you, Sophia, are not supposed to be in this industry working with C-suite executives and doing all these things. But I tell you, that systemic gatekeeping, it is painful. And I trust that, the work that a lot of us are doing around this planet is helping break down a lot of those barriers. And then the last thing I would say is that it's the inner critic, it's the saboteurs, it's the self-doubt, it's the lies that we constantly tell ourselves, and that we're constantly told, and that we're constantly building evidence for, that I'm not enough, I'm not worthy, I don't belong at this table. So when I got this designation as master certified coach, so I was just inundated and blown away by how many Black and brown people said to me, I didn't even know there were Black coaches at your level. I didn't even know. And I was like, well, not on my watch, as a yellow Van Sam would say. So I was like, well, we got to change that. And that is why I do so much work around making coaching more accessible to our communities. But yeah, I said, I didn't even realize that there were people like you.
That makes you more desirable, and
yes.
You're gonna stick out like a sore thumb.
Yes,
yes, makes you more desirable.
I appreciate that, Sha-Nae. Look, I'm gonna actually redo my logo so it looks like a square peg and a round hole. What's so interesting is that same person, not too long ago, just a few weeks ago, texted me and reached out to me about me supporting him around all that's going on in the U.S. And I'm like, wow. So back to what Sha-Nae said earlier about being very conscious and aware of your village, who you surround yourself with. People kept saying, there's always this saying around, sit around the table, long at the table. I said, I'm not spending my time focusing on whether or not I'm being invited to the room to sit around the table. I'm making making factories so that all my people, they can decide, they can choose whether or not they even want to come in that room.
It's
true. That's right.
Table.
Wow, listen, I have definitely enjoyed it so far. I know we're coming close to an end, but one of the main things when we're here is we talk about, this is the I Am Woman show, which is a spinoff of the magazine, I Am Bold and Fearless Woman magazine. And so when we talk about the magazine, yes, it's coming up. It's going to be launching on March 8th, Women's International Day. Yeah, and you just heard from two of the cover girls who we're going to see on the cover, and you're going to hear a little bit more about their stories as well. But before we go, guys, I want to ask this question because we're talking about I Am Woman. We're talking about I Am Woman. We're talking about being bold and being fearless. So what is that one thing that makes you, that you would say, that makes you bold and fearless in your field?
I could say so much. You go ahead, Sha-Nae.
For me, I feel like what makes me bold and fearless, that I am apologetically myself. I do not try to fit in. I'm so different. Might be weird, but yeah. And again, that goes back to, it really goes back to you knowing who you are.
Yeah.
Who I am, chosen by God, and yeah, just me really being grounded in who I am and having that Christian background for me, Yeah. So I block out the noise honestly, I really do block out the noise. And for me, my desire is really to do what God has called me to do.
Yes.
So that has made it easier. I mean, it isn't easy, but that makes it clear. It makes it easier for me to really block out the noise and all the white air. It really doesn't matter who's doing this. It doesn't matter who's doing what. Any decision that I make, every choice that comes before me is like, Lord, is this something you want me to do? If this is not something you want me to do, or this is not something that you're involved in, bye with that. So I mean, I've
Yes.
walked away from a few things because of, I didn't feel settled in my spirit, because I didn't feel like, it was something that God would have called me to do. So again, I feel what makes me bold is just knowing who I am. I'm being okay with that. Being okay if that's not enough for you, that's fine. But just the confidence that supposed for me will be for me. I protect my peace, protect my space, and yeah, I'm comfortable with who I am. For
I
sure.
love that. That's it. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Sophia.
I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps all over my body. Yes, I am comfortable and okay with who I am.
Yeah.
I am, and I would say what makes me bold. I was born bold. I was born bold. I was born bold because I am His child and I was made in His image. So I was born, and I just got lost along the way because I started to listen to a whole lot of other stuff that wasn't true. And I'm so grateful to God that He gave me another chance to come back to who He created me to be. I would also say, I'm bold because like Matthew 5:16 says, let your light so shine. So He's giving me permission. So I'm like, if y'all got issues with how I'm shining and showing up, you go take it up with Him. Let your light, right? So I'm going to keep shining my light. I'm not going to put my light under a bushel, not ever again. I imagine some of that has come with age, but also it's come with a lot of experience. And then also I would say what's bold about me is my willingness to practice authenticity. As much as I fall short many days, but I'm willing to practice authenticity. So the last thing I'll say is that my relationship to fear is I don't have to be fearless. It's okay if I fear some things, because I do. I don't have to be fearless. And sometimes I say, I talk to fear. Like, look, I'm going to do this anyway. You can come.
Do it scared.
You can, exactly, Sha-Nae. You can come with me, fear. But I'm doing it anyway. Do it anyway.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then finally, just before we go, what can people expect, or what would you like people to be able to take away from the magazine? The magazine's coming out March 8th. Everybody's excited. They're anticipating it. They can't wait to see the cover. They can't wait to see what's in the pages. What would you like people to take away from this magazine?
Walking your truth. Ooh. And just be the help that somebody needs. Be the help that you need. Be the help that you needed. I'm sure there are many times that we can look back on our lives and think about a moment that we needed somebody and there was no one there or nobody showed up for us. And you be that person to somebody else. Don't be mean to others, Be who you need. And I really hope that people take that away. Just pass on kindness. We really don't know what.
Yes. Nah, she dropped the mic.
Yeah, be that person. Just be that person. What about you, Sophia?
I would certainly, just to piggyback on the wonderful words that Sha-Nae just offered. So show up, take up space, sis. Take up space. You are worth taking up space. You've been given permission before you were even born to take up space. So that's what I would want them to walk away with from that magazine. Take up space unapologetically.
Yeah.
And I would also say ask for and be open to receiving support. One of my favorite influencers, Elaine Fluker, says support is sexy. When I heard it said that way, I was like, oh, okay, now I can get with some support, asking for support. Support is sexy. Ask for support. Ask for support.
I love that. Go ahead, Sha-Nae. You were going to give some final words there.
Oh yeah, I dropped off for a minute.
You dropped the mic though before you left.
Okay.
So just back to my point, just to finish,
Yeah.
really be that support, that you would have needed, and just don't be. And for the other women on the other side of the table, go after your dreams. Like there's so many others who are doing it. Don't look at us and be intimidated. Look at us as encouragement. And just be reminded, if we did it, so can you. It's not easy, but you can do it. You can definitely do it. Go after your dreams. Yeah.
Wow, beautifully said. So, ladies, I want to thank you guys so much. It's definitely been a pleasure, an honor, and a privilege having you here tonight to share, from the heart as we talk about what it means to be resilient and what to expect of the upcoming magazine. Those of you who are tuning in right now, maybe you just got on or you've been hearing this from the beginning. Thank you for tuning in tonight. It's definitely been a pleasure having you in the room. I pray that something that was shared here tonight really has encouraged you. And I can't wait to hear your thoughts, your takeaways, your comments from the magazine that will be out very soon. Thank you guys for tuning in. And remember, share this link with a friend. And we'll talk very, very, very soon. Goodbye.
Thank you.